Hello folks, this is Tondi. I'm here for Molly Mine Embroidery Designs, and today I am going to do the crazy whale for you and let you see how one of these crazy patch designs are done in case you haven't ever done one before, and also in particular the whale because it has a fountain that goes in a second hoop. So it's easy to do, but this way you can see it. So let me turn my camera around and I'm going to show you how I get started with my hooping. Just in case everybody needs to stop and go get their coffee, you see there? It's cheaper than therapy, quilting and coffee. Here we go. I have started with my background fabric. I have 2 layers of stabilizer in my hoop. Mine's a firm tearaway. You can use whatever you like, but I'm using 2 layers of that. This is the background fabric I've chosen. It's important that you hoop down low on the fabric because if you do not, you will not have room to add your fountain up here later. So that is how we're going to start today. And I'll put this on the machine and then I'll get back to you. Okay, folks, I have my design loaded and I'm ready to do my first step, which as you can see on my machine shows you right there. It is going to sew the whole outline. So I've got some white in there, and off we go. And that's your first step. Okay, folks, step 2 is ready to stitch out. If you can pardon my clumsiness, I'm trying to hold an iPad. Okay, step 2 is this outline here. You can also, by just looking at it, you can see that it's the shape right here. You can also look and see where it is here. Now we need that piece of fabric that's bigger than here. I have a selection of blues already ironed and laid out over here, and I'm going to pick this one and I'm going to lay it across the top. Now you have a choice if you want to hold it down or if you want to use spray based or tape or whatever you desire, however you like best to hold that in place while it stitches down, then that's what you'll need to do at this point. And I'm going to let the machine stitch this down. Actually, I can let you watch that. So here, I'm quite comfortable just holding mine. Okay, now for those of you that this might be your first time, this is where you will take your hoop out of your machine, but you will not take your fabric out of your hoop. And we're going to trim close around all of this. Okay, I did part of this so you can see. See how I've trimmed away real close to this line? But I still have to trim this off. Okay, so trim real close to the edge, whereas it was hanging all out before, just like this side. Get really close without clipping those stitches. And then we'll go on. And then put your hoop back in your machine for the next piece. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I did this step. Now I've got to trim it. And then we're just going to keep going all the way through. Add a piece, trim it, add a piece, trim it, until we're all done and the whale is covered. So let's get that done and then I'll come back. Okay, y'all. I have got all my pieces trimmed up and my whale is ready to go. I'm ready to put this on the machine. And this next step you see is the satin stitch. It's all one color, so I have me a blue in there and we can just get started and let that stitch and it'll do the whole whale. Okay, folks, there's all the satin stitch around the whale, and now we're going to start and we're just going to do step by step, and I'll let y'all go through and finish yours. And it's just a matter of each of us picking our own color choices and filling in all the designs. And when it's finished, I will check back in with y'all and get ready to do our fountain. Okay, folks, I'm all finished with my whale. And now I'm going to show you how we rehoop and do the fountain. Hey, folks, I'm going to show you the stabilizer that I'm going to use as I rehoop to put the water fountain on the top of the whale. because I don't want to hoop my design. I want to stick it down. But I want to show you what I'm using because many of you will want to know. Mine is a Baby Lock brand because that's what my local dealer has to offer. You can use whatever kind. I know that Floriani offers one that works just like this. I don't remember the name of it. This one's called Stick Tear. Oh, I don't know if you're going to see that reversed or not. But anyway, in case y'all see it reversed because of my camera, it's called Stick Tear. And it's a 1.5 ounce tearaway. But how it works is this is like fabric on one side. Well, I don't know. There you go. See how it's like a fuzzy fabric on this side? And this side's a glossy paper. So when I put it into my hoop, I'm going to use a straight pin, which I don't have sitting right here. I'll try to show you on my hoop in a minute. I'm going to use just a pin and score. You're going to put it into your hoop paper side up, fabric side down, okay? And then we're going to score the paper after it's in the hoop and just peel out what's in the center of the hoop. So I will stop the video and take you over where you can see it on the hoop. Okay, y'all, I think you can see from right there. I'm going to take just a pin and score this paper, which means I'm just going to press just enough to poke through the paper without going all the way through the fabric and everything. And then I'm just going to gently scrape up a corner of the paper, leaving the fabric part underneath. I don't know if you can see this. Okay, let me see if you can see this. Okay, so you can see where it's scored. Okay, so then you just peel this up, and I'll have to work to get the rest of it up, but you see that? Okay, so this is sticky. Okay, right. Now what I did was I just laid my fabric down in the hoop and I smoothed it down onto that sticky, and that sticky grips it really nicely. It's made for embroidery machine, so it doesn't gum up your needle. And I just make sure that here's like the bottom edge of my hoop, and then here's the top of this, so I have room for my fountain up above. And now I'm going to put it on the machine and line it up. Okay, folks, here's what I have sitting here for you to see right now. My hoop is in the machine. You can see that my whale is sticking up here, and here's the tip of his head. So I need the bottom of my design here. I have already rotated my design so that it's sitting in the right direction, but I need to physically make sure that the bottom of these stitches are going to line up, you know, however close I want them to be. So I'm going to go into my machine. Everybody's machine might be a little bit different. And I am going to move my design over, and I'm going to watch, even though I'm going to move it with my hand, I am going to watch over here to see where my needle ends up. And a lot of time I like to lower my presser foot so I can really see. Oh, excuse me. You know what I forgot to do? Pardon me. I forgot to set I want to be at the bottom. So I choose I choose my stitch position so that it's showing me the bottommost stitch. That's what I do on mine. And then I go back to the moving thing, and I can scoot it so that the bottom stitch, see there how I can just now move my needle. This is how I set mine up, okay? Now, I know that's the most bottom stitch is going to be real close to the edge of that. There might be a little bitty gap, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't have to touch the whale. You can if you want it to. That's up to you. Now, I'm going to come back over here and reset mine back to my center stitch. Okay. So now I know that it is set to stitch exactly where I want it to stitch, pardon me. And all I have to do is get ready and say go. I've got my thread ready. All right, here we go. And hopefully it'll go right there and start stitching. And this is how you add your fountain. Finished. Here's my fountain. It's still in my hoop, there's my fountain on my whale. Isn't that cute? And you can see there's a little bitty gap, but it really doesn't matter whether it touches or not. It's just up to your personal preference. If you use a sticky stabilizer like I have, just be careful. Gently take it off. You know, you have to tear it away from that, so you have to do it gently. It is not the only way. You can also hoop your fabric if you want. You just have to be careful, because you're going to press that hoop down over those other stitches and part of your design. So, but you can do that any way that makes sense to you. Pick your favorite stabilizer, use your imagination, come up with other methods if you want. But I hope that maybe this helped. If anybody wants to know, how in the world do you add a fountain when it's done in 2 hoopings? It's really not difficult, and it's super cute when it's all finished. So once again, here is my version tonight on this crazy stormy looking sea of gray. And the first one that I did was more like a baby beluga. I did it in white. Isn't that super fun? Anyway, so use your imagination, pick your colors, and when you're all done, post them on the page for all of us to share. Thanks, and y'all have a great night.